So if you guys don't know, last week on Saturday, the Knicks finally won an NBA championship after 53 years of no championship whatsoever. And it got me thinking, since the entire Deadlock cast and the game itself takes place in New York City, how would all the characters within Deadlock react to the Knicks winning a championship? Well, today we're gonna find out. I'm gonna put every single character from Deadlock into this tier list right here and judge based on how I think they would react to the Knicks winning a championship. So for the tiers today, we're starting at the bottom. We have absolute hater, either that or you're a Spurs fan. So you either just hate basketball, hate like the best thing in the world, or you just are a Spurs fan and you're a Wemby Glazer, which I have lost all respect for you if you're glazing Wemby. Sorry about that. For the tier above it, here for the chaos, everyone's just here just for the chaos. They're kind of a neutral party, but they just want to have like a crazy time and just wreak havoc across the entire city, right? The tier above that, we have happy for everyone. People are just like, oh, we love to watch good basketball. We're just happy to see like some great basketball for the city. We are also happy to see the entire city unified together and have like a good time with each other. People are just happy for everyone, right? And then we have big Knicks fan. We have people who have been with the Knicks for a long time now, but they're just like casual. They only just came back to watching the Knicks because they just started winning all of a sudden. And then we have diehard Knicks fan. You have literally been there with them for ages, even during the times where they were just absolute dog shit and praying for a #1 draft pick. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. We're going to figure out all the characters and their reactions to the championship, starting with Abrams. Now, Abrams, to me, I think Abrams has this like drive. He would be a big sports fan. He seems like the guy who would be into sports, but he wouldn't be able to catch it often because he's obviously working. He's got a lot of cases he wants to solve, but like I think he would still be like a pretty big Knicks fan. So I'm going to put him in big Knicks fan for now. Apollo, I genuinely think he wouldn't care for anything. He wouldn't care at all for the game, right? Oh, what's it called? Yeah, he wouldn't really care at all. In fact, I think he would low-key hate it, right? I think he would low-key hate just seeing the entire like world being happy of just like the Knicks winning. And I honestly think he'd be secretly a Wemby fan. He's pretty arrogant, and Wemby kind of is arrogant himself too. If you've watched like the press conferences, he definitely was acting that way. So I think he'd be a Spurs fan, not gonna lie. Bebop, I think he is a big Knicks fan. For me, I think Bebop deserves to be I put Bebop in big Knicks fan because I think Miss Shelley probably used to be a Knicks fan herself. Probably witnessed the Knicks win a championship ages ago, but hasn't seen one in a long time and is extremely happy herself. Bebop will be probably watching the game with her and would be cheering on the Knicks the entire way through because Miss Shelley's happy. So that's how I see Bebop reacting to the Knicks winning. Now Billy's an interesting one because you could either put him in absolute hater or diehard Knicks fan, right? Now I think Billy would hate Wemby. Personally, I think he would hate Wemby because he would hate how tall he is, but he would also bully Brunson because he would hate how short he is. And like I think it's just like he's kind of in the middle, and like he's just kind of there. But I think he would, because he's like from New York, he's probably just like a really passionate guy. I think he would be a diehard Knicks fan. Not to mention he does have a kill line. Like whenever you kill someone, there's a chance he'll say, and I thought the Knicks sucked this year. So he says that, and I think he does care about the Knicks. So I'm gonna put him at diehard Knicks fan. I think he just is a kid from New York City who's like literally been waiting for the Knicks to win, and he's like saying like, oh fucking finally it happened. So that's how I see it, right? Now, Calico, I'd say like Calico's a weird one. I think we need to add another row because I should have added this earlier. Oh my god, okay. Add row below. We're gonna say pretty neutral. I think we needed another row. I should have added this honestly earlier. I think Calico would honestly be pretty neutral, but she'd be like slightly happy for the Knicks. I think she would be slightly happy for them, but I think she'd be watching from her apartment and just like kind of sipping on like a glass of wine and just hoping and just like looking at what work she has to do. But she's pretty neutral, I'd say. I think Calico's pretty neutral. On the other hand, if we're going to Celeste, Celeste Baby is a fucking diehard Knicks fan. She's outperforming in Coney Island and is like a New Yorker at heart. Come on, man. Come on. She'd be the one climbing buildings, and like waving Knicks flags. She would be like a big diehard Knicks fan. She is alongside Billy, I'd say, a diehard Knicks fan, in my opinion. Now, Doorman's very interesting. And I am going to put him here because I think he is definitely here for the chaos. Because if you know Doorman and if you've like understood a little bit of his lore, the reason why he's technically an eldritch god, right? He's like almost on the same power level as the patrons, but chooses to be a doorman at the Baroness, right? But like the reason why he works at the Baroness is because he likes people watching. He loves to observe people and how they act. And for him, seeing Knicks fans flood the streets and like have like the greatest time of their lives cheering for the Knicks, he would be ecstatic. This would be a wet dream for him because he would love to observe how Knicks fans function in society when the team is actually doing amazing. And he would have the greatest time of his life, not just watching basketball, but probably just watching how people would react to the Knicks as a whole. So that's how I see it. Now, Drifter, okay, here's the thing about Drifter. I unironically think Drifter would be here for the chaos. Obviously, I think Drifter would be here for the chaos because he would love the energy. Everyone would be like fucking around, just going wild, just going buck wild, just like destroying shit. And that's kind of Drifter's MO. But I think secretly, because he's from the South, he was also like a New Orleans fan. So I think he was a Pelicans fan, which if you guys don't know, the Pelicans are probably like one of the worst teams in the NBA right now. So he's got no team to root for. And he probably was secretly rooting for the Spurs, and he would probably be rocking a Spurs jersey. But like, obviously, if any Knicks fans tried to fight Drifter, they would be dead on sight. I think he low-key would probably wear a Spurs jersey, not because he's a fan of the Spurs, but just so that he could have people test him, and then he just has like victims to kill. He just has victims to kill because they just wanted to try him, you know? So that's how I would see a Drifter react with the entire city, you know? Now we got Dynamo here. I think Dynamo has to be a big Knicks fan. Straight up. I think he's a professor from Columbia, probably has been like there for a long time teaching students at Columbia, and you can't help but just be a fan of New York sports, especially if you've been in the city for a long time now. And obviously he's probably been telling his students about the Knicks and like how he thinks they've been gonna win all this time, and he doesn't really care. He's just happy. He loves watching the Knicks games with his wife. That's just my headcanon. You guys could say whatever you want in the comments, but I genuinely think Dynamo would be a big Knicks fan. Now, Grace, on the other hand, I think for her, she would be, it's between absolute hater and pretty neutral. I gotta say absolute hater, but she's not a Spurs fan. I don't think she's a Spurs fan. I think she just doesn't want to fuck with the fact that like everyone is like screaming and shouting when she would just rather be in a graveyard trying to listen to the dead. And because everyone's screaming and shouting and she's trying to like listen to the dead, she can't hear them because obviously it's chaos out there. She just gets pissed off at all of the Knicks fans and just doesn't want to be in the city, and probably is just like having a miserable time. I don't think she would not touch the parade. She would just probably find a way to get out of the city. I don't know where she would go, but she would try to find a way to get out. With GT, GT's a tough one, man. I low-key think GT, I think for GT, he'd be happy for everyone. I think he's kind of the guy, like he'd be happy for everyone, but he'd be begrudgingly happy in the sense that he wishes his family was still around. because I think he would have a better time watching the Knicks games with his family. And since they're gone, he's kind of just like remorseful about it and probably feeling more vengeance to find their killers. So this probably low-key fuels him, but I think he would be happy for everyone and just like would probably watch the games here or there and probably keep up, but it wouldn't be that active, honestly. Now Hayes, I think this is gonna be controversial. I think Hayes is secretly a big Knicks fan. I think she'd be a big Knicks fan. I think she's like obviously donning orange. It fits the OSIC colors. Same with Abrams, who's wearing blue. Like, I think like she would have a soft spot for the Knicks. She seems like she balls in her free time. Probably wanted to join the WNBA. I don't know. This is my headcanon right now, and I think she like really appreciates the Knicks winning, and is probably out in the streets with Rem, who I'll get to next. I think Hayes is trying to show Rem a good time, and like showing him like that the Knicks winning this is a big fucking deal, you know. So I in my opinion, I think Hayes is a big Knicks fan. Now Holiday, I'm gonna say this right now. Holiday is pretty neutral in my opinion. I think since she's from Illinois, I think she'd be a Bulls fan. She'd probably be a Michael Jordan fan with how high Jordan can jump. She can jump pretty high. I think she looks up to Jordan to an extent. But yeah, I think like what's it called? Holiday would be pretty neutral throughout this entire thing. She's wishing for the Chicago Bulls to be good for once, but right now they're not good at all. They're getting the 4th pick, so who knows? Maybe they'll be good. They'll be good this season. But like, yeah, she's just been waiting for like a Jordan dynasty for the Bulls for a long time now, but that's not going to happen in ages. But I will say this. I think Holiday has mad respect for Jalen Brunson, considering Jalen Brunson hitting 45 points in Game 5 was literally tied for Jordan's record for clinching the, I want to say it was the 99 championship. No, it wasn't 99. What am I saying? It was like the 90. It was his last championship, or like the 90. It was like I think 96 Bulls in the 96 in the final game of the 96 series. Holiday like he scored around 45 points, and Holiday would probably give Jalen Brunson mad respect for that. So I'll give Holiday that. Now in fairness, you got to understand, in fairness is a real New Yorker, born here in New York, immigrant, like first generation to a family of Ixians who never taught him Ixian, who just he's literally a New York immigrant. And if you're a New York immigrant, there's no shot you do not love New York sports, specifically the Knicks. The Knicks embody everything immigrants stand for, and it is literally just like the heart and soul, just the toughness and grit of playing out on the court and playing with your full heart out there. And I think Infernus loves that, bro. Infernus is a passionate guy himself. He'd probably open up Jezebel's so that everyone could have watch parties, and he'd probably be like so happy that he's getting a ton of business with everyone crowding his bar. Not to mention, I think Hank, the one who saved Infernus, pretty much would be a Knicks fan himself, and probably got him into the Knicks as well. So I gotta say, Infernus is another diehard Knicks fan. So yeah, there's that. But speaking of more diehard Knicks fans, we gotta go with Ivy. Ivy, being from Harlem, being around a bunch of Spanish people in Spanish Harlem, living with the Arroyos, there's no doubt in my mind the Arroyos really wanted the Knicks to win. And obviously Ivy, loving the Arroyos herself, she would definitely be rooting for the Knicks alongside her family. And I think that's why she would be such a diehard Knicks fan at the end of the day. Now Kelvin is just a happy guy. Kelvin's a happy fella. I think he'd just be happy for everybody. I think he just wants to see everyone enjoy themselves, be safe, be okay, because he's obviously died. He knows what it's like to be hurt. He doesn't want anyone to get hurt, but he's happy that everyone is enjoying this championship run and is enjoying their time just seeing history being made. So to him, that's what it feels like, you know? I think, okay, so on to Geist, right? Geist is an interesting one. I think she's pretty neutral, but hear me out, right? I think she would, because she's rich, she would probably be in Celebrity Row in Madison Square Garden, just sitting there, right? I think she'd be sitting there, but like she would kind of just be like a fake fan. Essentially, she'd be one of those fake fans, kind of like a Taylor Swift, I'd say. Because I don't know how much of a fan Taylor Swift is, but like it's rarely ever a chance where like I highly doubt Taylor Swift is a real New York Knicks fan. Lady Geist is on that same tier where she's kind of just like there just for clout, just to like be a part of something and have like higher status above everyone else, saying that she went to a championship game and no one else did. I think she'd be like that. And on top of that, like what's it called? Like she would have to like, she would smile for the camera for the Knicks game, but like obviously like she just does not care. So I think she's pretty neutral, but she would still go to the games is what I'm trying to say. Now Lash is very funny because there are actual voice lines from the shopkeeper and they reveal that Lash is actually a Celtics fan. I'm so sorry for all you Lash mains out there, and I hope you're not Celtics fans, because if you are, I'm doubly sorry. How did you guys get clapped by Philly, man? How? 3-1 comeback? You had Jason Tatum came back. I'm telling you, here's the thing. Like, Lash is an absolute hater. He's not a Spurs fan, but he's an absolute hater because he knows the Celtics would have swept the Knicks, but obviously like that they got swept by Philly of all teams. So he's pissed off. He's probably just sulking in his chair secretly. And just doesn't really give a fuck about like the Knicks. I know there are some Boston fans who were rooting for the Knicks, but I just think like Lash being as arrogant and as egotistical as he is, rooting for the Celtics, I think he would just try to ignore everything going on and just say that like the Celtics were always better. They should have been in the finals, not the Knicks, you know? So there's that. McGinnis. Oh, McGinnis is interesting. I think McGinnis is a sick and twisted person, even though it doesn't show that way. I think she'd be pretty neutral, honestly. I think she'd be pretty neutral. I don't think she would really care. I think she would go back to working on her weapons and just being an absolute war criminal. I think she would be excited to see the Knicks be like, she would acknowledge like there's like a giant crowd of Knicks fans like crowding just to watch the games and like see this championship, but I don't think she would care, honestly. Yeah. Now Mina. Ooh, Mina's interesting because obviously Lady Geist is her idol. I say Mina would be in the same boat, but she wouldn't be like Lady Geist sitting at courtside. She would try to finagle her way into getting courtside seats, but she wouldn't be able to get it. She would only get like the row behind or the second row before, because she's been chasing for clout this entire time. It's the reason why she became a vampire in the first place and why she wanted to marry Pocket. But like, she wouldn't obviously get like, how do I say it? She wouldn't get like courtside seats. She would get pretty decent seats, but she would be so dissatisfied about it. I don't think she would she would just feel terrible about it. She would feel like, oh, I should be there. But again, it goes back to Geist, where Geist is just playing it up for the camera. Mina's kind of playing it up as well. She's kind of a bandwagoner, probably pretending that she's a Knicks fan. So there's that, yeah. And I think like same thing with Mirage, but I think Mirage would just be chilling with Nishala the entire time. I don't think Mirage really cares about basketball. He doesn't seem like the type of guy who would be into basketball. Maybe cricket. Coming from a guy who's brown, and I know how much brown people love cricket, or he's probably there just to it's either he's just gonna be chilling, or he's technically there just to watch the World Cup. Not gonna lie, I think he's just hanging around the city just to watch the World Cup, because I think he cares more about the World Cup than the New York Knicks winning the championship. But hey, that's what it is, you know. Okay, so for Mo and Krill. Ooh, I think Mo and Krill, they're not neutral. I think they would want to be, I think they'd be here for the chaos, honestly. They'd be totally here for the chaos. They'd want to be a part of the crowd. They want to like find a way to get into MSG and just like get in front of the game, or they be out in the crowd. And if this was like if during in this Deadlock world they had phones and like they had social media, Mo and Krill would try to get in front of the cameras and just probably put a Kalshi mic to their mouth and just like spit the most crazy nonsense they would ever have. But like just to get more attention, you know? That's how I see it. I think Mo and Krill would be the type of people to be here for the chaos, and they would also be like Knicks fans. But I don't think they would just like. I think they're also trying to just get like some 15 minutes of fame because they just want to be recognized, you know? They just want to be recognized for their talents, you know? Now Paige, ooh, I'd say like Paige would be happy for everyone, but towards the end of it, I think she would become a big Knicks fan. I think she would slowly become a big Knicks fan. She would obviously be a bandwagoner, but she would become a big Knicks fan only because I think she would fall in love with Jalen Brunson's story, because Jalen Brunson's story is so like likable. The stories of the entire Knicks players are all so likable. You had Mikal Bridges, who literally had like raised by a single mother, had to work for everything, went to the finals with Phoenix, but lost that emphatically against Giannis. Then you had Josh Hart becoming a journeyman, disrespected by all of his teammates until he got to New York. Then you have like OG Anunoby, who made a championship. He has a ring with Toronto, but he never played. And on top of that, his mother died when he was young. His father died when he turned 18, and he had to like immigrate over from London over to the States. He worked hard. And he like OG has like one of the greatest plays in finals history now. And on top of that, you have Kat, who lost his mother to COVID and during one of the games, he like felt like his mother's presence, and like it compelled himself to actually like have fun and like destroy Wemby in games 1 and 2. Like and obviously Brunson's story of just being doubted, being like looked down upon, and having to become David versus Wemby, who's Goliath, right? And she would just eat that shit up. She would just eat that shit up and become a Knicks fan for life after that. That's how I see it, right? Now Paradox, I forget if she's actually from the future. So I think she would already know that the Knicks won this game. And like she's obviously a time thief. I think she would just be here for the chaos, honestly. In the sense that like she knows what's happening, and is there to just kind of like steal whatever she can, while everyone is like rioting and like cheering for the Knicks. She's gonna try to slip in and out just to steal some shit for whatever reason. And that's just how I see Paradox playing this out, you know? Oh, Pocket's interesting because they probably are secretly a Knicks fan. They probably are a big Knicks fan, but they wouldn't celebrate. I think they would be on the run still. But I'd say Pocket's a Knicks fan. Like something about them, I think Pocket would genuinely like be watching from the side, just hiding in a corner, just trying to sneak peeks at the game whenever they can. But at the end of the day, they wouldn't be outside just like cheering with everybody. And they wish they could. They really wish they could. But it just isn't in the cards for them right now. It's tough. Now Rem is like I said earlier with Hayes. Rem is out there on the streets with Hayes. Like Rem is cheering for that shit. He is ecstatic. Is he sleepy? Yes. Does he need to get his sleep? Yes. He genuinely needs some good night rest. Like just some good night's rest, right? But like obviously he'd be ecstatic alongside Hayes. I think Hayes and Rem would be out in the streets together. Obviously Hayes would be watching over Rem, making sure he's safe. I think he would just be like so ecstatic to be around. And he's just a kid, man. A kid experiencing their first championship. Obviously that's fucking insane. That's amazing, bro. It's good. It's good for him, bro. I love it. Now we have 7 here. 7, bro. I had to give him absolute hater. He just he just would not fuck with it. He would just think everything was barbaric. And since he's just like the guy who wants to ascend to godhood and sees this as like sees like Knicks fans like celebrating on the streets, having a good time, he just see that as barbaric and just would not want to participate. He would hate that shit. He would just try to like leave him he would just want to be left alone at the end of the day. He just doesn't care about basketball at all. It's not like Lash, where like Lash actually cares about basketball. No, like Seven just doesn't give a fuck at all. He just doesn't want to do that, you know? Now on the opposite end, I think I would have to say Shiv is a big Knicks fan. I think he's pretty nonchalant about it. He obviously is like the quote unquote heir to the Baxter Society. He kind of is just like he's a big Knicks fan, but he doesn't really like to show it that often. But yeah, he's excited for the Knicks winning a championship. He's rooting for them. He's just like he just loves seeing like who's at the top. And obviously Jalen Brunson is like a big inspiration to him because of just how well he's able to come back from games. I think Shiv would obviously love watching the games and just be super excited, you know? Now Silver's interesting. I think Silver's not here for the chaos, but I think it's tough. I gotta give it to her. I think she'd be a diehard. I think she'd be a diehard Knicks fan. I think like when she's trying to relax, she'll watch some of the games and like be super fucking excited. And obviously, I think Wolf form comes out. So like I'll put like both her and her Wolf form would come out. They'd be fucking cheering this shit out of Knicks fans. She would get drunk. She would lose her mind and everything, you know, and just be super happy. She would just be so happy that at least like she can just be a Wolf and people would not give a fuck. People just want to see the Knicks win. And I think she'd be so excited and become a diehard Knicks fan because of that, you know? Ooh, Sinclair's funny because it's obviously technically two people. You have Henry and Savannah. Henry and Savannah are difficult, bro. I think you know what? No. I think I'd say they be like pretty big Knicks fans. Actually, you know what? I'd say they're diehard Knicks fans. You want to know why? Here's the thing about the Knicks, right? Because the Knicks were going on a full-blown championship. You got to understand this. The amount of people that crowded over. You had people coming from all parts of New York, even parts of Jersey, right? You had the entire world, and New York City is like the world, that would bring people who hated each other to come together and unify for one cause. And I think Sinclair, both Henry and Savannah, would just set aside their differences, would stop hating on each other and bickering, and would actually finally talk about the Knicks and just how they're winning this generational championship run. That is how I see it. And I think Sinclair overall is like a diehard Knicks fan, is just excited to see the Knicks actually win for once, and would be putting on a show for everybody if for the Knicks whenever they could, you know? Now, Venator. Venator seems like a no nonsense type of guy. I think for him, I'd say he'd be pretty happy for everyone. Oh, okay. See, I think he's happy for everyone, right? You want to know why? Because the Pope, the current Pope, Pope Leo, was actually formerly went to Villanova. Who else went to Villanova? Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson. So obviously, Spike Lee, if you guys didn't know, Spike Lee went to Italy. I think it was Italy. I forgot where, but I think it was definitely Italy, and handed Pope Leo a Knicks jersey. In my thought process, I think he'd be a diehard Knicks fan because of that. I think Venator would be a diehard Knicks fan because of the Pope backing the Knicks. And because the Knicks are a team of destiny, literally had like one of the greatest plays from OG Anunoby be called the hand of God. Like this is like a religious boner for Venator, bro. He is having the time of his life watching the Knicks win a championship, being backed by the faith of God himself. Like Venator would lose his mind over this, and it would only just like validate him as a person believing in God, and like seeing the Pope actually root for the Knicks only just makes it even better for him. So he would become a diehard Knicks fan. overnight, instantly. Now, Victor honestly is low-key pretty neutral. I think Victor is kind of just like, he's just there. He's still like kind of depressed. He's just a depressed man overall. I think he would just be happy that like, he'd just be fine just to chill out and just realize that like, oh, everyone's just doing their own thing. So he'd be pretty neutral. I don't think he'd be like rooting for the Knicks. But like, yeah, at the end of the day, like, I don't see him being like a big Knicks fan. I don't see him being a big basketball fan because the boy just woke up recently and is like still trying to figure out his life at the end of the day. So a Knicks championship, he doesn't even know what that would mean to him because he doesn't know who he is at the end of the day. Now, Vindicta. So the thing about Vindicta, I don't think Vindicta would be a Knicks fan, to be honest. I really don't. I think she was I think she was from Massachusetts, so I don't think she'd be a Celtics fan, but I don't think she would care about the Knicks. It's tough. She might be a Celtics fan. She might secretly be a Celtics fan, but I don't think she's that much of a Celtics fan though. No. I think she's pretty neutral. I don't think she's a Celtics fan. I think sure she died during the Salem witch trials, but like isn't like a basketball fan overall. So I think she's just pretty neutral. She's just watching from the rooftops and just chilling, you know, just like avoiding all the chaos up there. So yeah, I don't think Vindicta would care about the Knicks at the end of the day. Now Viscus, on the other hand, I think he's just happy for everyone. He's just happy. He's just a little happy goo ball, you know, just a little happy goo ball, just excited to see everyone happy themselves. He's kind of like Kelvin. So with Viscus, like, bro is just like, he's just happy to see everyone else happy, and is like, he's also learning the game. He's excited to watch the games too. I don't know if he's a fan of the Knicks yet. He'll slowly become a fan, but I don't think it'll be like this. Like, it'll probably be by the time the parade rolls around, he'll be a fan of the Knicks. But like, he's just happy to see everyone else happy. I think that's just amazing, you know. I love Viscus, you guys. Viscus is great. He's just a great sport. Now for Viper, I don't think is a Knicks fan. She's from New Jersey, yes. It is where Jalen Brunson's from, yes. But I think she would be here for the chaos. She would, the way I think Viper would act would mostly be, she would have a parlay on the game and would just be betting all of the money that she has on either the Knicks or the Spurs. I don't think she would bet on the Spurs because I think she would hate the Spurs. Because of how Wemby acts and like how the team has been acting towards like the end of the series. And on top of that, I think she'd be betting for the Knicks, but she would just be there for the chaos. She just want to fuck shit up, kind of like Drifter does. She just is there just to like see everything in chaos because she's just a chaotic being herself and just embraces that, which is what I love about Viper's character as a whole. She would definitely be there for the chaos and just rioting because the Knicks won, you know. Here's the thing about Warden. I think Warden would absolutely hate this, mostly because he's kind of a guy who falls into stuff with order. He wants to keep things in check. And seeing the chaos that's happening with this Knicks championship run, he would hate it. He just would hate the chaos. He would just hate the fact that everyone is just like being completely rowdy, being completely unruly. He would just hate it. And I think he wouldn't do anything, but maybe. He could probably work with the NYPD. I could see that happening. It's a possibility. You guys got to let me know if you think Warden would work with the NYPD. I think he might. So yeah. And then we have Wraith. Now Wraith is an interesting one because I think Wraith, it's between either she's a Knicks fan or she's here for the chaos. Because Wraith, remember this, Wraith is a gambling woman. She loves to gamble, and motherfuckers love to set up parlays for these games. Some people just watch the games just to see if their parlays hit. Low key, because of that, I think Wraith would be here for the chaos. You want to know why? because she would be the one setting up these parlays, setting up the sports books, and just trying to like get as much money as she can from people gambling on these games. I think that's all she would be there for. She wouldn't be a fan of the Knicks. I think she would still be kind of a fan of the Knicks, but she'd be a fan of making more money. And obviously because of that, like, you can't hate her. She's hustling, bro. She's literally creating like literally gambling rings, sports books, just for people to gamble on the Knicks championship run. So there's that, yeah. And then finally we have Yamato. It sucks because I think she's pretty neutral actually. She's coming off from Japan. I know Japanese people love basketball. Shout out Yuki Kawamura. If you know, you know. But like, I don't think she cares. I think she's just trying to build, like, she's still trying to build her way up into the city and build up the seventh moon. And the Knicks on this championship run is just an obstacle in her way. Like, I don't think she would care, to be honest, and just like wouldn't have like the fandom needed to like actually root for the Knicks. And I don't think she has that many friends in the city. She's just chilling, kind of just like by herself and just like trying to get her little group together, you know? But yeah, this is an entire dissertation on how I think every character in Deadlock would react to the Knicks winning a championship. Let me know what you guys think. Is this tier list valid? And who do you think should be in a different spot? Let me know. I would love to hear from the comments below. But that's pretty much it. That's the end of the video. I've been Luckdeep. You've been amazing. And remember, stay eccentric out there. Peace.